Welcome to Bhairavpur. From the outside, it looks like a forgotten rural village, but the decaying mansion just beyond the tree line holds a secret. It acts as a physical trap for a century-old trauma. A local girl named Reena decided to test the legends. Prodded by her friends, she crossed the threshold of the ruins specifically to prove that the stories of ghosts were nothing but superstitious nonsense. Inside, the atmosphere immediately shifted. The flashlight beam revealed a shadow on the wall moving entirely on its own. Moments later, the slow, deliberate sound of heavy footsteps began closing in on her position. She ran out physically unharmed, but escaping the building didn't stop the phenomenon. Over the next few nights, those same rhythmic footsteps began echoing inside her own house, accompanied by strange, blurred figures appearing in her mirrors. The ruins functioned as the epicenter of a psychological contagion, attaching itself to anyone who dared to step inside. This network map illustrates the terror spreading. A central mansion node connects to Reena, then branches out. Unconnected villagers experienced identical hallucinations. The barber Raghu was stalked by a green-eyed shadow. The driver Amar met a faceless entity announcing his final destination. Desperate to stop the spread, a villager named Mohan attempted a traditional exorcism ritual at the mansion. Instead of peace, he was met with a terrifying physical response, fresh blood weeping from the stone walls, spelling out a clear warning: escape is impossible. The mansion is no longer an isolated site of haunting. It has become a vector for a shared psychological crisis, spreading through the village as quickly as the rumors themselves. The escalating panic drew the attention of the authorities. DCP Arvind arrived in the village as a strict rationalist, determined to debunk the rumors and end the mass hysteria with cold, hard logic. But his logic fractured during his solo investigation of the ruins. An invisible hand grabbed his shoulder, and a voice whispered directly into his ear, daring him to venture deeper and uncover the truth. Realizing standard police work was useless here, Arvind formed a descent team. He recruited Reena, a local teacher named Anirudh, and Ankit. Together, they agreed to enter the mansion's basement at the stroke of midnight to confront whatever was waiting for them. Pushing past a heavily rusted iron door, they were hit by a blast of foul, stagnant air. The underground cellar was freezing cold, its damp walls covered in years of untouched decay. The midnight descent forced modern skepticism into a direct collision with ancient, buried trauma. Down in the darkness, the apparition finally revealed herself. It was Lalita, the original matriarch who owned the mansion a century ago. Through her manifestation, the horrific truth came to light. Exactly 100 years earlier, her own husband, consumed by sheer greed, dragged her down to this very cellar and buried her alive beneath the stone floor. Looking at this timeline graph spanning a century, we can see the exact mechanics of the hauntings. The auditory phenomenon, the slow footsteps and desperate whispers, were the infinite looping echoes of Lalita's physical struggle to claw her way out of the earth. A century of silence allowed this agony to fester. The echo gained a physical weight, creating a cycle of terror for anyone entering her home. The violent stalking Bhairavpur is the direct product of human greed and extreme injustice. Armed with this horrifying truth, the team decided on a radical solution. They systematically burned the entire mansion to the ground, intending to incinerate Lalita's buried remains and permanently break the curse. In the immediate aftermath, the villagers gathered to conduct a massive collective prayer over the smoldering ashes. For the first time in years, Bhairavpur experienced a truly peaceful, silent night. Fast forward a few days. Reena is finally back home, studying in the supposed absolute safety of her quiet, modern bedroom. Suddenly, a freezing wind blows through the window, and from the darkest corner of her room, the unmistakable, rhythmic sound of Lalita's heavy footsteps begins to echo all over again. Destroying the physical source of a nightmare does not erase its psychological echo. Once you have heard the true sound of terror, the shadow walks with you forever.